Balaji has these concepts of technical truth, like the diameter of a virus. It doesn't change based on your opinion. It's like a technical truth, and then also social truth, which is like, let's say, the position of your border as a country. It's like, let's say, if the birds are flying over your border, they don't know that they're flying over the border. It's like they don't perceive it, but like it's like a software in people's head. They know, like, okay, this is the social truth, meaning like this is like the agreed border between these countries. So but it's a continuum, it's like a spectrum, it's not binary. So you could have something like in between, like these technical truths and social truths, or a combination of it. Let's say Bitcoin is a combination of it. It has it's technically backed by mathematics. It's like cryptography, and it's also has this like proof of work. There's like some decentralization. It solves like some important like math problems in game theory. So it's definitely like it has some kind of technical backing. It's a technical truth there, but you also need to believe in Bitcoin for Bitcoin to gain scale, gain popularity, to appreciate in price. So it's like a kind of interesting combination between these two poles. But when Balaji talks about technical defense, he means like buy Bitcoin, get it off exchanges. And when he thinks about social defense, he means like get into a crypto-friendly jurisdiction.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mtambo's podcast. Today, we have a very special guest, Jakub Simek, a co-founder of Se2 and an author of Wisdom Enterprising. Jakub recently wrote an article on TradFi Winter and its impact on legacy finance. I'm excited to have him here today to talk about it. Jakub, welcome to the show. Well, let's dive into your article. You talk about the term TradFi Winter. Could you explain what that means for our viewers who may not be familiar with it?
So TradFi is like traditional finance, and and it's kind of a play on words, referring to the so-called DeFi summer of 2021. Where you had the stimulus money in the US, the stimulus checks, and many governments were like printing money and like trying to help the economy because of the lockdowns and the COVID kind of shock, the supply shock, and so many people they were at home, and they were just like, I don't know, buying stonks on Robinhood or Revolut, or or like investing in Dogecoin. And but you had also more kind of technically, you have also like many of like these DeFi, like decentralized finance protocols, like emerging, working. And actually, even when the DeFi winter came, later on in 2022, those protocols didn't fail. Like they were working. So the DeFi didn't fail. Like the protocols were working. But what kind of broke was the centralized kind of crypto providers, like meaning like it's kind of that try to be like something like the bridge between traditional finance and crypto. So Balaji has this very important concept of like 3 stages of digitalization: that you have the analog version, then you have the scanner version, and you have the digitally native version. So like, let's say Bitcoin Lightning is a digitally native version of money. Bitcoin itself is also digitally native version of money and financial system, or crypto. Yeah, but then you can have like some kind of like a bridge or intermediate stage of this like scanner version. So like let's say these neobanks, these like fintech companies, they provide you with the user experience of like a digitally kind of native user experience that you feel like it's immediate. Like you send someone, let's say, money through Revolut, and if you have both the same account, accounts at the company, you feel like it's like immediate, but in the background, like in the on the back end, it's like still kind of like Pony Express, slow snail mail kind of thing, because like with traditional banks it takes, yeah, I don't know, 2 days or 5 days even for international transfers. So if there is some kind of like special situation, if there is some kind of stress in the system, like these kind of scanner versions of digitalization breaks. And now we see it with traditional banking and with the central banking during like this TradFi winter. But before we saw it with like these kind of crypto companies that were acting like DeFi, but actually they were like CeFi, like centralized finance,
Yeah.
So yeah, and so because, for example, you had some loans, you had some kind of let's say bad investments, bad loans that actually broke those kind of CeFi, centralized finance companies, but they marketed themselves as crypto companies, as DeFi companies. So the DeFi protocols, they were okay. Like, of course, like these smart contracts can get hacked, and they can like there are many risks, or you can lose your private keys, and you can call Satoshi to I don't know, to help you with unlocking your account, or I mean your wallet. But yeah, so and there are many risks with crypto, of course. Like crypto can be crazy, and also like the prices can like fluctuate, and there is a high volatility. But like the protocols itself, with the DeFi summer and also DeFi winter, they didn't break. They were like robust, maybe even anti-fragile. They were robust. If not anti-fragile, they were definitely robust. But like with the CeFi, when there was a stress in the system, meaning like the prices went down a lot, because crypto has this kind of cycles, like seasons, like it's like like weather, or like the year, the seasons of the year. So yeah, you get if the price kind of drops a lot, you experience something like what the FTX experienced. The assets are fine, FTX is fine, but then it's not. It's just like, because they were, let's say, marked to they were held to maturity, or there were some kind of accounting tricks that the FTX used, and also like the banks in the current crisis, they used. Let's see, this like held to maturity classification.
Yeah.
But once there is this digital bank run, the people and customers like want to withdraw their deposits, and you need to sell those assets to actually to get cash to pay your depositors, your customers. And then when you have to realize these like unrealized losses, that's the key phrase from the current crisis that Balaji wrote about and tweeted about. So yeah.
Okay.
So sorry for a long intro, but like the TradFi winter is something like the DeFi summer, but opposite to it. Very yeah, very different.
I think that was a great explanation and very interesting. You also mentioned the possibility of a sci-fi scenario of American anarchy versus Chinese control. And you said that the chaotic US withdrawal from Afghanistan and the COVID pandemic have uncovered the possibility of such a scenario. Could you elaborate that?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's an unfortunate scenario, but it's like, Balaji he's like tracking in his head like thousands of graphs that are kind of like low probability events and low impact events currently, but some kind of events that can go vertical, like with COVID, he was like very early, like I think his tweet was on 30th of January, like, and he had like very specific things that would happen, like the masks, the lockdowns, the I mean, nationalism would rise, border closures, and he had like these kind of things on very early, where people were like not paying attention to COVID, or they were like, okay, you have like, I don't know, 2 cases in a country, or not even, it didn't even arrive to your country, so you're like, who cares, it's just like let's watch TikTok, like why be bothered? And so this is a kind of like a similar prediction, in a way, that Balaji, when he sees, like, he's like this his favorite quote, one of the favorite ones is, the only paranoids survive, so it's like he says that this is the opposite of the Lindy effect, or the Lindy kind of thing, like Lindy, this is something what Taleb uses a lot. Like, let's say if you have like a cup or a chair, or if you have an institution that lasted, let's say, for 200 years, then you can expect that it will last for another 200 years, like if, let's say, a chair was with us for like few thousands of years, or I don't know, so that nobody will innovate much on a chair. It will be another thousands of years with us, but if there is, let's say, a band, like a music band, that is popular for 1 year, you can maybe expect it to be popular for another year, but you can't kind of extrapolate that since this band is popular this year, or this singer is popular this year, it will be popular also in 10 years. You never know, but you can kind of, it's like, this is kind of like the Lindy effect, or Lindy heuristic. It's quite nice. So if you say like the USA is here for, I don't know, 300 years, or what's the I should get my dates straight, but okay, so 200 plus years, 300 years, it might be with us another 300 years, but yeah, so sorry, but the opposite of this Lindy effect is the saying, only paranoids survive. And you have also some examples of it. So, for example, people were using horses for thousands of years, and then suddenly, in a couple of years, the horses were gone from the cities, and you had like, because, and the horse manure kind of problem was solved for a while.
Yeah.
You had cars, so imagine there were like thousands of years, there were like horses and all these jobs around horses, and suddenly you get an automobile, you have a car, and it solves one problem of horse manure, but then it creates other problems of, I don't know,
climate change,
petrol also petrodollar, and I don't know, wars in the Middle East, and so anyhow, but like but this is like a good example of the only paranoids survive. So going back to your question, sorry, can you maybe repeat it again?
Just asking, like, the sci-fi scenario of American
right,
anarchy,
the American anarchy, sorry,
so Chinese control.
So right, so okay, it's like a near future sci-fi scenario where, imagine like what's happening in some blue cities, but especially San Francisco, where you have like a strange kind of mixture of like anarcho tyranny. So you have anarchy for the criminals, like they can walk scot-free, they can shoplift, like I don't know, below $950, or they can break into cars and kind of they are not punished. But let's say an Uber driver that is parking incorrectly or overstays, he gets like a parking fine of, I don't know, $60 or $100, So it's like excessive punishment for like the ordinary working class, even like immigrant, let's say Uber driver or people, regular people. But then you have like let's say drug addicts and also criminals that are like robbing people or like bothering people and also like stealing from people, and they are not being punished. So this is like Balaji calls this like anarcho-tyranny kind of example. And then it can be abstracted as a case of a bad regulator. So the opposite of a smart regulator, like the smart regulator bans bad actors and gives like star ratings to good actors, like, I don't know, customers, providers, partners. Like it could be like Uber, imagine Uber. And the key is like the possibility of exit. So these like smart regulators are checked by the exit. So by the possibility of exit. So you can download Uber, or here in Europe you have Bolt and Uber. In the US you have Lyft and Uber. So you can have like more competition, like many other companies. So so but with American anarchy, imagine like something like the summer of 2020, the BLM riots plus the January 6th riots, and imagine it like all the time, or like much more, like 1000x more intense or frequent, or both, So or it can be kind of like a low level kind of, but like the crime in South Africa, something like that. But if it's like in the US, the country might break, something like that. So it can get like progressively worse. That's like one scenario, but another one is like this digital death scenario, where it can be actually quite sudden, like nobody expected like these like BLM riots, but they happened, and they and the police response wasn't there much. So and and this is the American anarchy scenario, like a future sci-fi scenario, and China's control is kind of a future sci-fi scenario where there is a kind of like attempted coup in China. And the Chinese would believe that it's like it was like Western sponsored or inspired or even directed, and they would again enhance these kind of trends that are already present in current China, like towards more nationalism and kind of socialism, like and while they are like currently away, or they went the opposite direction as like, I don't know, 10 years ago or 20 years ago, where they were more embracing like international capitalism, like internationalism and capitalism, and now they're more embracing like nationalism and socialism. So like if you are imagining like a political compass, so they were before like more into this, like, I don't know, more embracing like this internationalism, globalism, and also capitalism, and they are like now being more militaristic. And imagine like these tendencies, but again like 10x or 100x more, because if there is some kind of like coup attempt in China, they would like get into these like they would have like these digital lockdowns, or like this like all these like existing tendencies that are within the society, they would like get multiplied and exacerbated and like 10x or more stronger. So That's like this scenario, and you don't want to be in either one. You don't want to experience American anarchy and be close to it, and you also don't want like Chinese control, because it's like it's very difficult to escape and to have like a civil society. But you want something like what Balaji calls like international intermediate. So like let's say countries like India, Singapore, it could be even like Kenya, or some, I don't know, some Visegrad 4. He's also mentioning some countries like in Central or Eastern Europe, where you want to be like what the non-alignment movement once was, like where India was quite strong. So he thinks like in this century it will be like the third world will become the first world, so it will be like a reversal. So you want something like the aligned, not the non-aligned movement, but the aligned movement, and aligned because of Web3 and crypto, like open global protocols.
Hmm. Okay, that's definitely something to think about, because we might get chaotic half measures of digital lockdowns, attempts at digital currency, CBDC and quasi CBDCs, and digital withdrawal from the fiat system. And maybe social media would be American glasnost, and cryptocurrencies American perestroika. But let's move forward. You also talk about the importance of technical defense and social defense. Maybe can you explain what you meant by that?
Yeah, so Balaji has these concepts of technical truth, like the diameter of a virus. It doesn't change based on your opinion. It's like a technical truth, and then also social truth, which is like, let's say, the position of your border as a country. It's like, let's say, if the birds are flying over your border, they don't know that they're flying over the border. It's like they don't perceive it, but like it's like a software in people's head. They know like, okay, this is the social truth, meaning like this is like the agreed border between these countries. So but it's a continuum, it's like a spectrum, it's not binary. So you could have something like in between, like these technical truths and social truths, or a combination of it. Let's say Bitcoin is a combination of it. It has it's technically backed by mathematics. It's like cryptography, and it's also has this like proof of work. There's like some decentralization. It solves like some important like math problems in game theory. So it's definitely like it has some kind of technical backing. It's a technical truth there, but but you also need to believe in Bitcoin for Bitcoin to gain scale, gain popularity, to appreciate in price. So it's like a kind of interesting combination between these two poles. But when Balaji talks about technical defense, he means like buy Bitcoin, get it off exchanges. And when he thinks about social defense, he means like get into a crypto-friendly jurisdiction, because now okay, so these are these two, like buy crypto, get it off exchanges, and move to a crypto-friendly jurisdiction. And the first thing, like buy crypto and get it off exchanges, is the technical defense, like hold your private keys locally. Yeah. And the social defense is move to a crypto-friendly jurisdiction, because if you are like a Bitcoin maxi, as we are all like in the current days, we are all Bitcoin maximalists now, and if you are in a place where they hate like technology, when they hate tech progressivism, or where they hate tech bros, or let's say crypto bros, you might not Yeah, I mean, it's not enough. You might not, you might experience a hard time, and of course, like, I mean, it's also Arthur Hayes, like at when he was speaking to the bankless guys on their podcast, he was also saying like, okay, Bitcoin is like virtual oil for him, so it's like you don't need to buy barrels of oil like to store your, I don't know, preserve your wealth, but you have like Bitcoin is like the abstraction of it. But you also don't you probably don't want to drive a Lambo in a neighborhood that is experiencing economic pain and suffering and some like
high cost of living.
Cost of living rising rapidly, and you're driving in your Lambo, so you might not you might not last long in that neighborhood. So that's like the second part of social defense. So maybe basically it's ideally just like don't buy expensive cars or anything like that don't stick out, but it's also like maybe you if you have if you have possibility of it, you can move like into a crypto friendly jurisdiction, which let's say within the US it might be like, okay, you choose Miami over San Francisco, that's kind of like obvious, or some other places that are crypto friendly, but internationally it would be like Singapore or United Arab Emirates, Dubai, right?
El Salvador,
and some other places. Maybe some like Palau or something. Yeah,
or they could come to Africa, Central African Republic,
right, but I don't know. I mean, could be. I mean, at least they could study the country, because if there's the second country that has Bitcoin, right? Like after El Salvador. But okay, sorry, I forgot to mention El Salvador would be probably also like a good choice. And you are actually correct, which is interesting. Because on our time zone, I'm not sure. Okay, we have Dubai, like it's not the same time zone, but it's like it's kind of close by. So it's actually, I mean, in Asia, even like now the Hong Kong, which is under China, but they are trying to get the crypto bros to invest there. Yeah.
What about Honduras? Honduras also, I
think. I'm not sure. It's like one thing that the country is like thinking about it or like embracing Bitcoin, but I think you need to have like leadership that is capable of, let's say, providing security and I mean security for their people, and kind of like so I don't know, El Salvador could be an option, but like interestingly, like this is like important with because of remote work, and also because of crypto, and after COVID, you can do these like longitudinal arbitrage, as Balaji calls it. So you could, like, I don't know, you could work from Nigeria for a Norwegian company, because the time zones are, if not exactly the same, they're very, very similar. Actually, with Nigeria, I believe it's like the same actually time. The same time now is in Nigeria as in Slovakia. So, but so you could do this like longitudinal arbitrage, and I think this is not so many countries like are woken up to this fact. And if you have like, I don't know, United Arab Emirates, they can they can occupy like the whole they can be like the central hub like for all this like technological talent. Now even like Saudi Arabia tries to, like, I don't know, position itself as like, I don't know, just attracting some technological talent there. And I don't know, within Africa it could be, I don't know, it could be Rwanda, even potentially Kenya, it could be Mauritius, probably, like some places like this. I'm not sure, but like
actually in Africa, like 5 countries are already or 6 countries say it's legal. Crypto is legal, Bitcoin is legal. There is no ban completely. Like the trading is allowed, and it's not like in China where it's banned. Like you cannot do any crypto transaction, or you cannot mine. But we have Kenya, like, which is kind of legal. We have South Africa. We have Central African Republic, and and some other 2 countries. I can't remember quite well. And then we have also some implicit ban, whereby there is not that too much. And then we have those countries which they're uncertain, still they don't know if it's right to do it or not, just like Tanzania. So but like those 5 countries which are legal, people could move. Recently, actually, in Kenya now, we have some regulation being drafted. Actually, they're already drafted on cryptocurrency. Right now, it's regulated. Those companies who would like to do that business of cryptocurrency in Kenya, they have to do, of course, the KYC of their customers, and and the investment that you put in crypto. You have to note it down, and whenever you sell, you have to note it down so that you can do taxes at the end. And I think the taxes, I don't know, it's 1.5%. Of that. So still we are in the early stages. There's some part of that regulation which is not favorable, but at least it's a good way. It's not a ban from our side.
But the percentages sounds good, because, like, for example, in Hungary, our neighboring country, I think the tax is like 15%, but in Slovakia it's like more than 30%, because it's like it's crazy high, because it's like it's not specifically for crypto, but they are treating crypto like I don't know, some other income, like, I don't know, if you are renting out a flat or something, and you have to even pay like health insurance for it, so in case your Bitcoin gets sick or something. I don't know, it's crazy. So definitely, if you have like 1 point something%, but what could be like our advice to someone if there is like a head of state or some official listening, it would be funny. But I know, like Balaji kind of since we started to do daily Balajisms, like writing articles and like posting it on Twitter and doing podcasts. So Balaji is aware of us. So like if he is aware of us, maybe someone from some other places in the world might get one idea or two. So like we would suggest actually this friend of mine, Juraj Bednar, he suggested like Bitcoin should be like tax-free, like it's like it's like a gold, like at least in Slovakia you don't you don't pay taxes on gold, like if it appreciates or something, if you are selling it or something. Okay, I need to double check this, like how it's in other countries, but this would be like we are all Bitcoin maximalists now, so let's say you would treat Bitcoin as a digital gold, and it would be like tax-free, like because especially if you want to attract like this kind of community, because it's like one thing they feel it's like a hassle to calculate how much how much it appreciated, and what did you sell it, what did you buy it for, what did you sell it for, and mostly they are just like holding it, hodling. But if they, I don't know, if they transact something, how they just like don't want to be bothered with with tax returns. But I think okay, it makes kind of sense, but like let's say generally with like Web3, it could be like text, but like but like with some reasonable fair amount, like I don't know, 10% or something like that. Or if you say like 1%, okay, maybe 1% is better than 10, but like 5% or something like that. But I think even what could be even like better way how to do it, probably it would be like some kind of like subscription fee, you know, or some kind of like a license, like an annual license. And then this way you don't need to like declare like how much you own, you know. It's like you are protecting your privacy, as let's say if you want to attract some like crypto bros, or let's say some for foreigners like tech talents to your country, and probably you could have like some kind of like annual license and get the money through these, like some kind of like a citizen subscription fee. That would be like one idea, you know. But Bitcoin like tax free, and let's say crypto, the other cryptocurrencies like taxed in some like I don't know 10% or lower. And maybe another approach would be like some kind of license. So you pay directly, you know, you just pay like an annual license to operate as a digital nomad, or some, you know, like a digital nomad visa or something, and it's covered within that, you know. So you pay the license, the government gets the license, I mean the proceeds from the subscription fee, and they can track how many digital nomads they have, who pays the for this kind of visa, and you just let those people be like, so they don't need to submit like some taxes, and especially for security purposes, because yeah, KYC, as you also mentioned, is important in some cases, but like Balaji likes to invert premises, and what he thinks is that basically privacy over KYC, you know, as we also discussed before, like in the 90s in Slovakia, or even in Russia and some other places, you know, sometimes like organized crime, they knew how much you have in your bank, which is not good, you know, they might be bothering you, you know. So you know, this is like, if the governments can't secure their servers, and if they can't secure their data, they probably shouldn't be collecting that data, you know. You could, with crypto, you could have like zero knowledge proofs, like you can just selectively disclose like what you need, what information you need, like and it's technically, it could be, or it is possible. So like I think this is like a new paradigm. So yeah, but of course, like if you get like digital nomads, you would know who they are, so you have the KYC. And even like Palau, you know, Balaji had a president on Palau on his podcast, the Network State podcast, and they are like merging the KYC and the crypto, and like the like digital nomad ID or e-residence with actually on chain. So they are putting the e-residence on chain. And I think this is the way. So you just basically, you can copy what the Palau did, and provide some kind of what the Palau did, what Croatia did, like for digital nomads. You can copy just like this best kind of good practices, and just like think about some like next level kind of thing, like think about it as a subscription for your netizens, you know, like, so you invite the digital nomads and they pay like an annual subscription, and you don't bother them with like some some tax returns. So
yeah, I think that's well put, Jakub. And I think once Bitcoin becomes the de facto new global reserve currency, we will also see the emergence of three types of jurisdiction: fiat states, Bitcoin only states, and crypto states. And it's important to be in a crypto-friendly jurisdiction, as you say, during these times of fiat upheaval. But you also mentioned in the article the concept of matcha loads. Could you maybe elaborate on that further?
Yeah, okay, so just like to conclude, okay, with these three types of jurisdictions, like after if this central banking crisis and de-dollarization trend continues and materializes, you would get also within these fiat states or jurisdictions, it would kind of mean like the private citizens are banned from owning Bitcoin. So only government owns the Bitcoin and they issue fiat, so like backed by Bitcoin. So, but then you would have like the Bitcoin maxi kind of states where it's just only Bitcoin Lightning, maybe Monero, something, but they would be like distrusting the traditional finance, the TradFi from the previous era. So they would be like, just live simply, save money, buy Bitcoin, something, like Islamic banking, like, like, so there are countries like, that the Islamic banking only countries, and so this could be something similar, like the similar idea here, like let's say other crypto and also TradFi would be haram in this case. So and then there would be like crypto friendly countries, like or Web3 friendly countries where you could be like, there would be all these like polycoins, like I don't know, like guessing like us also liking Solana and Bitcoin and other even Dogecoin sometimes, just for fun, so so you would have these three types of jurisdictions, but it's just like a prediction by Balaji. He is making these a lot, but I mean, kind of makes sense. So, but it's not like certain that it will materialize or when it will happen. And with your like marcher lords kind of metaphor, it's like, I mean, I haven't watched much of the Game of Thrones, maybe like the last 2 seasons or something, but it's there is this like King's Landing, and then there is Winterfell, so and the Winterfell is like the good illustration of these marcher lords that are on the border of an empire. So, and like more abstractly, you can think about like a membrane or a border where like two ecosystems meet, so where also the innovation can happen, because you are affected by the civilization, but you are also in contact with the nature and in contact with enemies or frenemies or the barbarian context, sorry. And so you are in touch with reality, basically. So that's like that's the concept of marcher lords.
Okay.
And in connection with this topic, I mean, it's like you basically, it could be like this crypto to fiat bridges, but it's also like I mean, people who haven't lost the contact with reality.
So in this context, could be like marcher lords guard the border of civilization, but are not fully domesticated by it, and thus on a periphery of ecosystem. And this is also where innovation happened in this, say, winter of traditional finance. Will let 100 crypto-friendly zone bloom.
Okay, this was because that's like the positive note. Like, so the TradFi Winter actually might create 100 crypto-friendly jurisdictions, because when the plane crashes, the traditional finance train crashes or something, like you hit the glass, you break the glass, and you decentralize. You hit the button, the brake, and you decentralize, as Martin Luther did once with his Reformation. So this is also like this decentralization, but you eventually want to re-centralize over some kind of like smart regulators, some smart jurisdictions. So it's not about like crypto anarchy, but it's about crypto civilization, So but even crypto anarchy is better than anarcho tyranny, says Balaji, but you want also, let's say, some smart jurisdiction, like it could be like crypto friendly jurisdiction like Dubai, but it's not like crypto anarchy, but it's something like on on a way to crypto civilization, some kind of jurisdiction that is progressively getting better and like more into Web3. Yeah.
Well, that's a very great conclusion on this topic. Thank you, Jakub, for sharing your insights on traditional our TradFi Winter and the impact it will have on legacy finance. You have a lot to think about.
Yeah, thank you. It was a great conversation, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Take care.
Take care too, and thanks for always showing up on Mtambo Desk podcast. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. We hope you enjoyed the conversation with Jakub Simek. Please don't forget to subscribe, give this episode a thumbs up, and be sure to come back next week for another episode. Until then, this is Mtambo, and don't forget to do good always.